Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back to the Creative Nomad Show. I am so excited to be here today. It is my honor and privilege to be introducing Miss Kimberly Cloud. She is a phenomenal entrepreneur, and you're going to get a lot from her. But I got to say something else. She is my 100th interview. Woo!
Yay!
Congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here with her. You guys are going to learn so much. And Kimberly, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a serial entrepreneur, freelance. Let me clarify. I'm a freelance serial entrepreneur who enjoys the Kimberly Cloud show. Enjoys, and what I enjoy about my show is I'm able to interview people. I'm able to create something that they may laugh at, they may grow from. But as long as they're growing 60% with education around a whole circle of things and topics, I'm good. You know, the laughter and the entertainment comes at 40%.
I got it. So the new show is really about, it sounds to me that it's really about your education, like really talking to people. What is it that you want to educate people on? What is it that you want them to get from you?
Different people lives. We must accept different people in the life settings that they are in. Different things like, for instance, different things like my life and even my sister's life may look different, because she does one thing and I do one thing. And I want to give the people education about various life subjects, such as things that maybe they never knew in life challenges and how to get out of them and cope with them. And yeah, I really want to help them.
Yeah, it's really important that we share our stories because people feel so it's when they're especially when they're going through things, they feel so isolated and so alone, don't you think?
Yes, and I have the key to that because to be honest, I'm not a typical human being. I know that sounds funny to say out my mouth and have it roll out my mouth, but I am isolated and alone, but virtually, I'm touching people virtually, one person at a time. And it makes me feel more better showing what I do that maybe my virtual family can't understand versus my own family. So I feel that I should educate them about my life and how I overcame mental health. How I not overcame it fully because everybody suffers from like bad times, and they have ups and downs. It just fluctuates with how much ups and how much downs you have per year. So you have to figure out what makes you happy.
Yeah. Yeah, so what have you found that really helps you to bring that out? What makes people happy?
Well, I do various things. Like sometimes I do things how I can't make people know what makes them happy, but I'll tell you what makes me happy, making other people happy. I have various things I do on Facebook that's unlike a typical person. Yeah, they have dance-a-thons. Yeah, they have challenges or whatever. But what I do is I bring my life. You're in my life, and I know I have followers, if not thousands or tens, and I let them in on bloopers, hair mistakes, Um, everything, I let them in so when they see my progress, they can feel good about, hey, she did it, I can, you know?
Yeah, I think that it's really important because we have this appearance, right? This online appearance, right? The social media, the Instagram life is called all the time. And, that's perfect and everything's great and everything's wonderful. And so it makes people want this unattainable, perfect life.
And that's what
So,
we must realize. I don't mean to cut you off. We are never going to have that perfect life, but we can have a Goldilocks life where it's right, but have challenges, but it's never going to be quite perfect, even monetarily. People that have money, they don't have perfect lives either, but they have one thing off their bucket list that many people don't, which is they don't have to worry about money. You know what I mean? So
so,
I don't know.
so what in my experience, I found that you never stop worrying about money. So I've worked with millionaires, multimillionaires, and it's just another zero. I literally was talking with someone and I was having an issue and we were having a conversation and I needed $2,000 and they needed 20,000. And we were just laughing about it because just because they had all this money didn't mean they didn't. It's all liquid. It's not all, you know, just like us, right? We could be making, $100,000, but you don't have any cash. And so you feel broke all the time because you decide that you wanted this house and this car and this lifestyle, right? And you have all the things. Whereas, right now I'm living as simply as I possibly can. So $2,000 a lot of times changes my life. Like, oh yeah, that's awesome. And it's just a bit different mentality. It's a different lifestyle. And like I said, it's about a zero.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
People like, let's say, like billionaires and trillionaires, right?
Mhm.
They don't have to, do you think that they don't worry about money no more? Or do you think that that is one thing off of their bucket list? Because not as in bucket list, but their self-actualization is the top pyramidal structure. So they're not worrying about the financial portion of the, you know, reaching self-actualization, versus somebody like you and me that but you're a little more lucky that gets like 20,000 from your friend. That would be pretty cool. But like you said, it is in our world another zero. How do you feel about that? How do you
Yeah.
feel about it?
So really working with because I've worked with every level at this point, right? So it really is, they're still just as worried. They're not worried about food. You know what I mean? It's not a food issue. It's not it could still be a house issue, right? They could have spent too much on their house. It could be that a liquidity issue where clients aren't paying, the money isn't coming in, or they're paying out too much, or they're not bringing in enough um, in this moment, right? Because typically when it comes to millionaires, billionaires, their money isn't liquid. It's not like we think of money, where it's in the bank and you just take it out, right? It's tied up in places. It's tied up in their business. It's tied up, it's making them money somewhere. So they have to move it around. You hear on all the shows, they talk about moving the money around to get this
Mm-hmm.
out. That's what they're doing. They're literally like trading this stock. They're doing this. They're doing that, and then they're gonna, they'll have a little bit of money. And they might have a slush fund. Don't get me wrong. They might have $100,000 in the bank, and you don't have to think about it. But when your mortgage payment is 45,000 a month,
Touche.
you know,
See, I
it's
never saw that. You made me visualize it. I literally wrote it down in my head, what you said.
yeah,
That's pretty cool. I didn't think about that. No, I
you know,
didn't.
you don't it's another zero. It's a bigger house. It's a bigger thing. They're probably not dealing about with food issues, right? They're not worrying about their car breaking down. But they're still dealing with the same kind of things, right? The household expenses might be okay, but now their business, and now it's not even just them. They have to worry about, are they making enough for everyone they employ? Because now instead of just your family, it's your everyone.
Yeah,
And how
everyone, it seemed like, based on what you're saying, that everyone sit up there and they feed off of the one that's growing the money, and that sucks that person dry. So my key to that is make sure that you give certain percentages to certain people and allow yourself at least 60 to 70% of your profit.
but if your profit isn't coming in like it normally does, so again, in those cases, you know, it's like your this month you made maybe $50,000 less than you made last month, right? And so I'm gonna bring it back to, because even in my head, saying I made $50,000 less than I did, it makes my like chest go. Okay, so let's bring it back.
You're funny.
Right? I have money. I still have money challenges, right? I'm not someone that is.
Do you live below your means every time
Yeah,
between your money fluctuating? Okay, have you went from whether good, bad, or whatever, like if I do bad, this is the amount of money I have to pay my rent, gas, and electric. If I'm doing good, this is the money I'm going to spend, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Okay.
and envelope systems, and I've done. I've played this game, right? I played this game. So, but imagine it this way. Okay, so you have a house, okay, and you have uh, two kids with an allowance, right? And their allowance is $100 a month, right? And I'm just giving things, right? This is not a
That's like 1%, right? Out of what? $100 a month out of what?
okay. So typically you're bringing in about $10,000 a month, and this month, okay, you bring in five,
Ooh, that's a big drop. That's like half it. That's
right?
50% of your money.
50% of your money. And now you still have to pay all the bills. You still have to do all that. And your kids aren't going to be okay if you don't give them their allowance. And, you know, and all this happens. Well, imagine that with 1,000 employees. So when you scale that up to the level that they're dealing with, right? Because we deal with it in household, we might deal with it in a small, it might be a VA, it might be something like that. They're dealing with it with 1,000 people. Oh my God, we didn't make $5,000 that we were or $50,000 that we expected. How am I going to pay payroll and get supplies for next month and keep the lights on? So it's never not an issue. It's just the numbers get bigger. The numbers that you're dealing with get bigger. And I think that that's one of the biggest things when you don't have the money that you don't realize is that it really is just a number. It's an energy and it's a flow.
I believe in the energy and the flow and a number. Obviously, it's a number. People like what we learned from our energy gets sets off when we're in the third, first grade, because what they say, zero is what? Not a number. And it gets embedded in our heads. And then we're like, okay, we're walking around. You have $10. I don't have nothing. You have $100. I've gotten, it felt really good. The energy and the positivity that I had for the little time I had when I got almost close to 300,000. And I made sure that I didn't even know I was receiving it. And when I got it, I was so happy. And I invested in a lot of good things. And I don't regret anything. And I cannot wait to reach, that energy flow again. Like you said, I never looked at money like that, but like you said, I believe you. That's a very nice word for it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just really, and what do you feel? I mean, it's not necessarily about me. I just happened to work with a couple people that were in the billionaire status that really we were laughing because it was literally zeros. I was dealing with it with a zero taken off.
And what's even more funny? I just get these thoughts. Let's say you make 1 million. 1 million is how many zeros? 369 zeros? Okay. So you got 9 zeros. So 9, you got 9, a number in zeros. And it's so cool. And then it all goes down to like, see, this is how my mind goes. It goes like one of those type of I'm gonna explain my story and then I'll come back to that. When I was at Office Max, I used to, when I was younger, go to Office Max in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I would play with the machines, like typing in numbers. When I was at the phone, I used to go to the phone booth and type in numbers. I loved numbers. It was always around me. And so to get to the point, I would sit up there and these numbers, like if you go all the way down 3, 6, 9, 12, and you was to say 3 or one of 3, that's one of 2 more, which that would be 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. Like I could go, like I love numbers. And the odd numbers are the best numbers because those are the secrets to the universe. And you have what you need in your presentation right now with the triangles, on your screen, on our screen, but you're producing and this is your show. So you have the world behind it with different symbolic colors, and you have different scales of networks. And it means a lot to me. I didn't even know that this would be your banner. And it's an honor to kind of correlate with that. And so I love numbers, the people need to know out there that Nikola Tesla, I'm not just saying this. You got mathematicians like I was watching yesterday, Albert Einstein. I watched last night how the Big Bang Theory, the Big Bang Theory. And I don't remember the people name, but what I do remember hearing was that the particles, there were 4 particles, and those tiny little particles got real hot, and they started conjoining together. This was before the universe was even born. There were particles out there, so these particles started joining, and it just attached to each other and got real hot. And then it was a burst of energy that dispersed other pockets of energy, black holes, white holes, all of that. And you have these laws of physics. Now that we're talking about zeros, how many zeros are out there beyond the omniverse that you see? You don't see a triangular moon or a triangular. Everything is circular. Everything. What? Go ahead. Go
Because
ahead.
it all spins.
Yes, that's
It
the
all spins.
motion. That is the laws of physics. That is the laws of the way the chemistry worked out in the favor to keep us balanced, to keep the universe balanced. It is, you know, I learned a lot last night. I wasn't even trying to. I had the computer right next to me, and I was listening to meditation music. It went off. I was half asleep. I was between sleep, my unconscious and conscious mind. So I guess I was in subconscious. And next thing I know, I hear I have to show it on my show because they had a certain section where they were saying, well, how is it that the universe keep expanding? But it was a question about why do the universe keep expanding? Then they showed aliens. And it was like, well, maybe the aliens is just getting bored creating galaxies and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, they must have a job on them. You know, and I was laughing. They were showing aliens just dancing, and it was just so funny, man. Like, I'm just a nerd. I like to learn. I love to learn, man. Like, that is my high. You know, you can have a little skit with me in a corner in the dark with a flashlight, just saying, "Get away from me." That's how bad I am. Or a computer or a telephone. You know, that's how I am.
Yeah, if you actually go, there is a look it up on YouTube. It's a really great video. It's called Mind Walk. It's a movie, and the full movie is available for free on YouTube. Mind Walk.
I'm gonna
And
look it
it's
up right now. Can I do it? I have a computer right here.
yep.
Um,
So, the what it does is it's actually kind of old. One of the guys from Law and Order is on there. It's from the 90s, so we've even come a long way from there. But it gives you the basics of quantum physics, and it talks
does it
about.
make you cry?
I'm sorry.
Do it make you cry? Like, because
No,
you know, did it come out in 1990?
something like that.
Okay.
Probably around there. So what it does is it kind of walks you through. It should have been a stage play. It's a little dry for me. It's one of the things I had to study for my ordination, and how we are not solid. Okay, so nothing around you is solid. Everything around you is exchanging particles, it's exchanging electrons, the chair, the air, the whole thing.
You're
And
lying.
nope.
It's an honor to pick your brain. Oh
So
man. So tell me, how do you know? Was the did Albert Einstein invent this? Was this after Albert Einstein they found this
this
out?
is
Was this
this is kind of
before?
after Einstein. This is later theory. But the electrons that spin around you that make you up. The only thing making you you is you believing that you exist, and me going along with that belief.
Wow.
So what's making our universe expand? They call it's dark matter, okay, because this can't be, they're still trying to figure it out. Okay, but what dark matter I believe is consciousness, is God, is that, the force, call it what you want, source, whatever, what we go back
You
to.
can kind of say we have dark matter in us.
I'm
Can't
sorry?
you? You can kind of say we have a little dark matter in us when you look through our pupils,
We are
and
all
it looks just like the universe.
the dark matter moves through us. So for me, dark matter is the force, source energy, call it what you will, universe, God, pick it, right? Pick your word, but it's what comes to us and through us. That's what moves worlds. It's what creates worlds, and we are part of that creation.
That is very
Okay.
deep. Have you wrote a book on that?
I'm
Or
working
like
on
put everybody thoughts and signatured it together?
what you. I've done some stuff. I've done some work on it, but what the book that you might well read is called The Book. It's from Alan Watts, and I'll send you the link to that. But it's a really great book that goes right along with this also. Um, and or any Buddhist thought, anything Eastern has kind of the same idea. My big change on it is that we're starting to actually see quantify it with dark matter. And I believe dark matter is that secret. It is what's pushing our universe. It's expanding our universe. Is the dark matter. That's proven. They just don't understand what it is, why it is, how it is.
You
And I
know,
believe that is soul. That is force. That is universe. That is God. That is whatever. That's what we came from, and that's what we will go back to.
wow. You're teaching me a lot of stuff I've never heard before, and it makes perfect sense. You know, our brain, our pupils, our pituitary gland and how it lights up, our pineal glands and how it lights up. And when we have a CAT scan or an image of our brain, and it lights up, it shows the electricity within us. Yes. But if William Shakespeare is saying the eyes are the windows to the soul, and you're telling me, and just now beyond Albert Einstein, which means he had to study Albert Einstein's theories, plus build it on them, that lets me know that we are made up of dark matter. That is not a bad thing. We're all made up of particles. Now it makes sense.
We are held together by dark matter. Dark matter is our. It's what we walk through. It's what we swim through. Okay. It is everything. It is all. Okay. So what holds us together is that is consciousness in the big C, right? So we have split from consciousness like a drop of water from the ocean. So when you take that space,
I
right,
get
and then
it.
we decided that we are this drop of water instead of we are this human, we are in this body in this lifetime. We're going to be able to touch, feel, do, right? Because as dark matter, we can't touch anything. We don't experience. We just kind of feel, and it's there,
Oh
and
my
we're there.
God. Now it makes sense. It makes sense. Whatever God is, because we've been conditioned to learn so much, but whatever God is, whether dark matter, let's just keep it with a fact or a theory. But in theory, if God is dark matter, it would be subjectively smart to think that it was just a particle of a tiny, quiet type thing in outer space, way billions, if not trillions of light years away. But why the Big Bang, before the Big Bang? And I feel that based on what you just told me, because I'm analyzing what you just told me, that these particles, these tiny, tiny particles are the key to what were those particles? We need to know what were those particles. We know there was 4 elements there was four, tiny other, like there was four tiny particles. They know what the particles were, but we need to find out what deeper beyond, like who created these particles to cause the Big Bang. We're in the middle of the universe beyond the omniverse. What caused that? Like, it's growing, yes, but that means that we are growing, but like, I don't
We,
know, it's pretty deep.
yeah. And God said, let there be light. Almost every religion you listen to starts off with something like that as you study religion and creation. Okay. We, as in the scientific world, they call that the Big Bang. So if you are sitting in darkness, okay, you are consciousness, you are conscious, okay, and would only be able to deal, you basically woke up and said, I need light, and
Oh my
started.
God, how many people do that a day though? How many of us wake up literally and be like, you know what, we need to turn the light on. It's dark in here. The dark, like I said, the world, when it spins, it goes light, dark. It's only two. And then it's afternoon, but it's still light. So we might as well say there's two elements to the way the world, the laws of physics works. And you got 24/7. And I was just thinking about something else, 98.6 degrees. And I was just like, wow, that's so cool. And, I don't know, man. I feel like it's so many, wow. Why is the universe so dark? Why is it that dark holes, when you shine light into them, enough light, they are, it still won't go to the other side. There is no other side. So what is so important? Because everything in the universe, in the multiverse, in the omniverse, and beyond that is just a copy, not a copy, but it is a product of different sources and different things growing, and I don't know, man. I feel like we we should all feel, we learn from elementary school, about our solar system. And as the years went by, we learned about different, maybe out of my whole 38 years, I may have heard of on the news 20 different planets they found. Now, I heard of a different sound from NASA website 2.5 years ago that isn't on the NASA website, and it was the most beautifulest sound of outer space. And if anybody wanna feel what outer space feels like, just dub, record the space, the game where they are out of space, the old school 80s game that you played on the Atari or played on the Pac-Man or whatever, and you just record that sound and just dub it and listen to it and rewind it and fast forward it is just how it sounds out of space. And it was the most beautiful sound. I'm very in tune with outer space.
Well, the Earth has a resonance. It's 432 megahertz.
So that's the frequency. Okay, see, now what is this term? Technology term, right? So that's the frequency normal people are on. So if you're on different frequencies, that kind of mess with your psyche a little bit. You are able to possibly see things, heal things, um, like do things you're not normally used to doing, like play music, sing, be an artist, you know.
It just all depends. It just all
That's why
depends.
we listen to what frequency when we're babies. First is the heartbeat, right? That's our first music tone. And then it graduates to what
The
like,
heart, the breath.
yes, talking, getting to know your mother and getting to know your father, and then listening to different frequencies. That's what they mean by different frequencies. We're made up of electricity, our heartbeats. When we're mad, what happens? Our heartbeat fast. When we're sad, what happens? You know, it beat, I don't know how it beats, but it beats fast for me. But but yeah, so I love this conversation we're having. It is
Thank you
amazing.
too.
It's an honor.
Unfortunately, we had to go. We're actually over our time. So,
Yes.
Kimberly, it's been amazing speaking with you again. I so love watching your journey. How do people get in touch with you?
They get in touch by going to, there's 5 ways. The Kimberly Cloud Show at Facebook.com, the Kimberly Cloud Show 38 at Instagram, the KCS Experience at YouTube, no, Twitter, the Kimberly Cloud Show on YouTube, and LinkedIn, the Kimberly Cloud Show.
Awesome. I can't wait to watch your show. I am so excited. I'll be there. And I just love you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for making my 100th episode so special.
I love you too. We made this video rock. Woo! Thank
Exactly.
you.
All right. I'll see you guys all soon, and I'll see you guys all next week with a new show. See you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Creative Nomad Show. If you have any questions about this or any other episode, go to creativenomadshow.com. There's also a link at the bottom. If you are a radical and would like to be a guest, you can apply to be on the show there. Thanks again, and know that you are loved. Awesome Life, we look for the world changers who want to live in creativity, authenticity, and profitability whenever, wherever. So check out trueawesomelife.com and let's get started.